Suddenly red shirts flooding back, chance for Cristiano Ronaldo!
The match between Manchester United and Arsenal has just finished a few minutes ago. I want us to discuss about that match and the Premier League title in general, because most people thought that this was the match that Arsenal had to win for them to stand any chance of winning the Premier League, or rather taking the Premier League title challenge to the last day. And indeed, they played well. Probably that's not one of the best games Arsenal has played. Probably if Man United would have upped their game a little bit, they would have equalized and denied Arsenal the chance of scooping all the 3 points. Because I believe that since Arsenal scored, they were not quite at their very best. They were just they crawled. In short, they crawled through the match. And personally, I've seen the Sky Sport player of the match has been William Saliba, which I think I also support, because he was solid at the back. He made some tremendous tackles. But I think somehow Alejandro Garnacho was selfish. There were moments that he had that probably he would have passed that ball to somebody else in a better position. Maybe they would have scored 1 or 2 goals. But he was a little bit selfish and tried to get into the end of those chances himself. And he missed all of them, because of course the scores when Man United did not score any goal. So going forward, Manchester City plays Tottenham Hotspur on Tuesday, which is very, 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 very important, a very, very important match for both Manchester City and for Arsenal. Most Arsenal fans, ironically, are supporting their North London rivals, Tottenham Hotspur. And as I've had Kai Havertz saying that he'll be the biggest Tottenham Hotspur fan come Tuesday, and I believe that's the same across the board for all Arsenal fans, because really Tottenham have got to do they have got to do Arsenal a favor by beating Man City, or just holding up for a draw, and then that will be enough to maybe bring the ball into Arsenal's court. Because if Tottenham draws against Man City, then it means Arsenal and Man City are level on points with 1 game each to play. Manchester City plays West Ham at home. Arsenal plays Everton at home. So if Man City draws against Tottenham, then it means the Premier League title this year will be decided on goal difference if both Arsenal and Man City win their last games. So is it possible for Tottenham Hotspurs to stop Manchester City from scoring, or probably from battering them this Tuesday? I personally believe if Tottenham turns up, if the players turn up and decide, look guys, Manchester City have not been quite good at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the last few seasons, they can give them a run for their money. But somehow I'm tempted to think that, like most guys, Tottenham Hotspur fans don't want Tottenham to beat Manchester City. That's a fact. I understand them, but I don't know whether that will have an impact on the match and how the Tottenham players will perform on that day. I really don't know. But all I can say is that this Premier League season has been quite competitive, has been one of the best that we have ever seen, one of the best in our generation, in our time, because seeing 2 teams battle for the Premier League until the last day, assuming Tottenham loses to Man City, then it means the Premier League will be decided on the last day. This rarely happens, because in most cases we get that the team that wins the Premier League are crowned champions a few 2 to 3 matches even before the end of the season. But this season has been different, and I believe if Man City win, then I think this will be tight, just like the Aguero moment. Maybe one of the teams between Arsenal and Man City will have to depend on the Aguero moment. But all being said and done, whether Arsenal wins the Premier League or not, whether Man City wins the Premier League or not, I think this Arsenal team, they have been so good this season. They have been so good this year. I don't know what they did in Dubai, because when you look at how these guys have been playing, the way they move the ball around, the way they defend, the way they are scoring goals, I think they've done a tremendous job. And probably if it had been in another league, Arsenal would be crowned champions probably by now. But because they are competing against the City machines, because Manchester City, at this point of the season, they seem relentless. They seem like they're not stopping. They're not stopping scoring goals. Whenever you think that you hoping them to drop points, they're proving you wrong. And not just proving you wrong, but they prove you wrong with a great, significant margin. So I believe irrespective of whether Arsenal will win the Premier League, I believe they have done their part. They deserve. They need to walk with their chests up high, and maybe try and do what Liverpool did, because Liverpool lost the Premier League to Man City a few seasons ago, and the next season they went for it and they won the Premier League with some matches to go. So if Arsenal are gonna do that next season, which remains to be seen, and I believe next season will be more competitive than this season, because I believe other teams will also be up and try and compete for the title. If Arsenal are going to try that, assuming they don't win the league, then I think they've got all they need. People are talking about Arsenal needing a central striker. I don't know about that, but that will have that conversation over the summer. But at the moment, if Arsenal wins the league, well and good. Congratulations, Mikel Arteta. Congratulations, the Arsenal staff. Congratulations, the players, the fans, because the Emirates Stadium this season has been their fortress, as well as their away record, because they have had 11 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. Arsenal away. When you look at Man City, if they win the Premier League, probably most people will be like, oh, they are used to that. That's what they are supposed to do. That's their irreducible minimum. Yeah, I understand that, but still, bear in mind that this Manchester City team, the way they have performed in some cases, in some instances this season, they have not been the very best, especially against the big six at home. They have not been the very best. So if they are not the very best, or they're not playing at the level that we expect them to play, and they're still winning the Premier League, then it means we should ask ourselves questions. What if they play to the levels that they are capable of? Because we know this Manchester City team can play and can win games. So if they do that, I'm tempted to think, just thinking, that for another team to win the Premier League the next year but one in the next 3-4 years, I think teams will start thinking about going for 30 games unbeaten, probably going the whole season unbeaten, because Arsenal have already won 27 matches this season. And still, that's not enough to guarantee them the Premier League. So that means this Premier League title is quite competitive, and it will need something extraordinary for you to be able to win against this Manchester City team, because I believe they are the machines. They are machines. And probably they are one of the best two teams in the, probably they are top two when it comes to the best team in the world, of course, with Real Madrid. That's a conversation for another day. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section, because there's some midweek fixtures that have to be played. Of course, the Premier League may be decided at the very last day of the season, as well as the teams competing for European places: Manchester United, Newcastle, and Chelsea. And Manchester United host Newcastle this Wednesday. So let's see how those fixtures turn up, and hopefully it won't disappoint, because we say this is the best league in the world. It must live to that, irrespective of whether some teams have already settled for certain positions. They still need to turn up and perform. And by that I mean Spurs need to turn up and perform. Same applies to all the other teams. They need to turn up and perform. It's not over until it's over. And this season, this Premier League title, don't be shocked, it may be heading to the Emirates, which I strongly believe, and I hope so, because I can't stand Man City winning it for the 4th consecutive time. Or what most people expect, maybe heading to Etihad. Let's see, guys. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. If you love this content, please subscribe, like, and share this video to everyone else. Thank you, guys.